Welcome to Deep Thought. Deal with the realities of life. I'm gonna tell you what, let's just be real out here. A lot of people, one way or the other, they numb themselves to what's going on. They have some type of drug. Now, there's the obvious drugs many people use, opioids. Well, marijuana is legal in some places, but that's part of the thing. Alcohol, whatever. Sometimes the drug could be sex. People will say, well, that ain't a bad drug, but you get some people, instead of facing life, the realities of life, they'll numb themselves through sexual activity with some people who, quite frankly, they shouldn't be involved with, Watching certain TV shows. A lot of these reality shows and TV shows people get into, they're really there to numb you. You don't want that. You do not want that. One of the things that you have to do is deal with the realities that's going on out here. And yeah, you want to face them. You still want to have a positive outlook, but you still want to deal with them. When I talk about stuff, I don't talk in theory or anything. Trust me, I could see all the bad stuff. I see the realities. But one of the reasons I think in a positive manner is how to defeat those things. How to get past those things, how to get past programming, because I've had to reprogram myself. I talked about that in the last episode and stuff, but and that's the best way, reprogram yourself, thinking positively. That's how you deal with the realities. You don't ignore them. So I ain't say ignore them. I said you have to deal with them. But see, when you're going through life, the realities, they can be multiple. It's a reality. You got some people out here who are driving like 6-figure cars and they have 6 and 7-figure salaries. That's a reality. It's there, but it's also true. It's also a reality. You have some people sleeping on the street. You have some people. Like I remember when I went out to San Diego like over a year ago. Well, not even over a year, and within the last year, I went to San Diego. I went to visit, family out there, right? Spiritual family out there, I'll put it like that. And one of the things they did was drive me around like downtown San Diego. Now, within walking distance of their baseball stadium, you had all these homeless people. That's one thing I saw out there, because I talked with my spiritual family out there, called my spiritual cousin. And shoot, he was homeless at one time out there. He said a lot of homeless people come out there because it stay warm. But that's a reality too. Indeed, being out there, being among being by the beaches and some $1 million houses, you have some homeless people. Those are both realities. How do you deal with that? Well, first, you got to face the reality. You face the reality. It don't mean you be negative about it. You just face it. In fact, you kind of, as best as possible, take your emotions out of it. As best as possible. You ain't going to be total. Take your emotions all out of it and just look at what you're seeing. And one of the realities that's really prevalent, yes, there are some people who are living very well, but then some people not living so well. Both are reality. And actually, both people need to look at each other. They need to look at each other and really understand it. It was like the people homeless, they can see the people driving by, don't get mad at them, understand that could be them. But then the people who got the $1 million homes and all of this, they can look and they can be like, oh, you know what? We need to be thankful for what we got, because we could be in that position. So when stuff happens, that's a reality. Like I said, even when I talked about positive thinking, there's nothing wrong with positive thinking. There's nothing wrong with it. Yes, you're going to get some negative people going to come around you, and yes, there are negative things happening, but a positive thinker thinks, okay, how am I going to get out of this? And that's the important thing. That I'm going to tell you what, you have to. You can't, because too many people, they don't really deal with it. Like, say you homeless. Okay, like I mentioned, my friend out there, spiritual cousin, I call him, who was out in San Diego. He ain't homeless no more. He's right on his mission, but he still dealt with it. You got to deal with whatever situation you got in a realistic way. I can't hide, you know? Like over 10 years ago, I'm like separated, getting out of a marriage. And for a lot of people that messed them up, and it wasn't good at first. I mean, shit, I ain't gonna lie. There was 1 week, I only had $4 to spend the whole week. I was gonna get paid on that Friday, but Monday through Thursday, I was like, I don't really have money. You know, I remember some of the stuff I was doing back then just to have a little bit of money. Shoot, I was losing weight back then, like I had when I had my stroke, because I just couldn't eat as well. I still had to work and everything. As you see, shoot, I'm all right now. But I dealt with the reality of the situation. I didn't just say, oh, woe is me or something. I said, okay, what can I do? All right. And that's about when I started doing this radio show for this brother, may he rest in peace. I started doing an internet radio show. Like people had to call in, and it was one of those types. People had to call to listen, or, they'd be on their laptop or something. But whatever the case, I started out, but it still wasn't as good. But I said, no, I got to do something. I got to do something. But I was dealing with the reality of my situation. See, that's the thing is, you got to look at what's the reality. Okay, once you face the reality, it's like, no, you don't numb yourself with drugs or, certain TV shows, certain news shows, really. There's a lot of people who do that, I ain't numb myself with something. I say, okay, how can I get out of this? Okay, the financial situation ain't good. Making just enough just to live. Okay, boom. I need to do some extra stuff. Boom, here I am. Because I dealt with the reality of the situation. I ain't in some fantasy, hit drugs, or did a bunch of stupid stuff. One thing when you see it, you got to say, okay, this is where I'm at. Okay, what can I do to solve it? Don't use, and like I say, there's different types of drugs. Yes, there's the illicit, illegal drugs, which many people are getting on, unfortunately. But then watching certain TV shows can be a drug. Or just having sex with multiple partners, that can be a drug. Anything you're doing not to deal with the reality of the situation. These are people are escaping. That's why they do what they do. This is very important, and this is what you need to do. But you got to deal with it. You got to see the reality and deal with it. No ifs, ands, or buts. You got to see it, all right? So, anyway, I want y'all to think about that, all right? Deal with whatever's going on, just deal with it. But you don't have to, first of all, ask yourself why you're there. 2, you don't need to dwell on the negative. It's probably already a negative situation anyway. That's a reality, but then there's also a reality that there's positive situations. Deal with all of them. But you want to be on the positive side, so you sit back and you say, well, how can I be on the positive side? Boom, there you go. All right? So anyway, that's all I have for today. I want y'all to keep rising and transforming, all right? And I'll talk to you. Peace and blessings.